This poem is called like Prometheus reading the lyrics of the Sirens song, and I will give an explanation of what it all means at the end. Right. Ordinary men who are titans, in my mind at least, custodians of the gatekeeper's key, the sharing of knowledge with the likes of me, a jealously reticent commodity, not meant for oiks with attitude oddity. Spalton, slightly mad, bored rubber throwing poetry lover. Nivton, young forever, viz quoting. Brown, bubble headed, sarcastic, face slapping, mercurial hawk. Forgotten, left behind, and I suppose to most out of memory and mind. The working class tree shaken experimentally. Maybe a My Fair Lady wager was all it took to take my life and fuck it up. The painted words of poetry, the words you paint with poetry, make a glimpse of heaven utterly cruel, when hell is the destiny of the fool whose only passe is that of tool. Education for the likes of me is a bitter and repetitious pill as I get my nose to the grindstone of some dark satanic mill. We've tried so hard to break the chains so our kids might thrive, just for a change, but lowly means unlikely and rarely leads to gains. So the heat from the fire of Prometheus makes it painful to loan our pilfered ideas to fellow drones. Myself, a part educated bloofer lady, not one thing or another, maybe. What little I know, a dangerous thing, as I attempt the craft of my betterlings. Fire is the power of education, ring-fenced by elites for domination of each fresh, destitute generation by sowing hatred and dissolution, creating self-serving laws that dissuade the revolution of deliberately forgotten Promethean children. This poem illuminates interests of mine in regards to how I see or think I see the civilizational pie being carved up. A theme I have recently begun to explore in the barely lit labyrinthine twists and twists of my no doubt diminishing time here is this. What if every human had the benefit of a fine education? What would the world be like if the fire of Prometheus was shared equally? The art, the scientific breakthrough suddenly made possible. Of course, I would suppose that some would benefit more than others due to genetic differences, just as there are differences in height and speed. Not everybody's brain is wired in the same way. I really don't think it would be necessary to create AI when all we need to do is educate our people using the same techniques as private schools employ. But here's the stumbling block. It's, as far as I'm concerned, an open secret that state schools are not the same as private schools. I have four sons, all born in the latest millennium, and although bright enough, do not seem to have received as good a quality education as I received. And I only went to a normal state school. But that's my point. I think it's been dumbed down over the years. I don't know. But I suspect education in the UK and elsewhere has been tampered with over the decades to produce a certain type of citizen. I also suspect that this tampering was enacted by various players who were not always playing on the same team. I believe the result is cohort after cohort who struggle to navigate a complex world because they haven't been given the same set of tools the children of those wealthy enough to pay for a private education have received. We hear again and again how educational and industry establishments constantly have to lower standards to enable new recruits to pass the threshold. We, the working classes, only briefly allowed to glimpse the flame of Prometheus. I suspect those in power quickly extinguished it for us, as education is and always has been the mechanism with which the majority have been kept in their subservient position. And it doesn't take an expensive education to put yourself in expensive shoes of a parent who, of course, wants to see their own offspring thrive. And it's far easier to thrive if the masses don't receive the same education or chances or established networks. It's always been wank to be poor, but it's even more wank when you see the educational privilege deficit that is all too real. I wrote that a while ago, but I haven't disagreed with that. It's something that seems obvious to me. If somebody is clever enough to take the education of, if you had two identical people, like every atom the same, and they were both capable of being educated to the point where they could become rocket scientists or brain surgeons or astrophysicists, although recently I've seen a video with a particular physicist, a very famous one, proving that all the education in the world can't make you a good person. Anyway, and you educated one to the point where he could be a brain surgeon, etc. And you give the other one no education at all. Now, which one is going to be the brain surgeon? Even if you gave the second one twin half of the education of the other one, you're still not. They're still not going to be equal. Education, and not colour, not anything else. Education is the thing that really separates us, and education leads to the ability to generate wealth, and wealth and education are the things that really separate us. We're all human, but we're not all equally treated. We're not all equally educated, and this is the real problem in the world. And anybody who says it's this metric or that metric that makes differences, they are talking straight out of their fucking whispering arsehole, because it's just simply not true. As far as I'm concerned, you may have a different opinion, and that is fine. But anyway, obviously a passionate subject for me. But that's it. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.